Down. What's up, everybody? You are tuned into the Elks Call, your home for Edmonton Elks fan talk. My name is Scout, aka the rep from Section X, and we couldn't be more thankful to have you for this episode. If you could go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, and favorite buttons, as your support means everything to us here at Shotgun Sports Network. Now, today we are going to bring you the best of Shotgun Sports. Go figure, our own network. We did have three amazing guests on our show that happen to be from our network, as you could assume. Jason Beisick of the Stampeders Roundup joined us for a couple of episodes, I believe. But we're going to give you one of those guest interviews anyways, or guest appearances. And then Joe Pritchard of the Winnipeg Terminal and the Rouge White and Blue podcast also joined us. Apparently was a bit of a fan favorite for his views on the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. I think there was an Elks win that made our fans extremely happy at home, and I think people wanted to see him return. Unfortunately, I think that will have to be for season 4, but at the end of this episode, you are going to hear from Clay Chisholm of the Argos Fancast, new on the network for this season. Great guy, great show. Go check him out. Go check out all of the shows on Shotgun Sports Network. And we have another new one as well in Shots from the Hip. So, always fun times over here at Shotgun Sports. And that's what makes this episode so much fun. But without further ado, let's dig into the best of Shotgun Sports Network on Season 3 of The Elks Call. All right, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show the host of Stampeders Roundup. It is Jason Beisick. Jason, are you guys scorching in Red Deer like we are here up in Edmonton?
It got up to, I think, 29 today. It's 24 right now still.
And I just saw 31.
Oh my goodness.
we are cooking. We're all cooking here in Alberta. It's actually warmer here.
31 here tomorrow.
Yeah.
See,
31
exactly.
here tomorrow.
That's nutty. And I mean, it's actually hotter here right now than it is in Dallas, Texas.
Wow.
What are the odds?
Summertime.
That's
It is
insane.
summer.
Dog days of spring.
And I'm recording this in my trailer where it's probably right now 35.
Oh my goodness. No. Too much.
Cooking like that Herties menu. Once again, man, we're super thankful that you could carve out some time for us today, even if you do support the wrong Albertan CFL team. Let's dig in. Let's dig in, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
Now, before we dig into the Elks versus Stamps game, our viewers know you from a show called Puck and Pigskin that was previously on Shotgun Sports Network. What happened to P&P?
Well, I got rid of one P. I got rid of the puck because everybody and their dog has a hockey podcast. So I thought, you know what, that's a very saturated market. So let's get rid of the puck. I still talk about the Calgary Flames in my Calgary Sports Update, of course. But just got rid of the puck. It was just too much to handle. And the CFL needs more focus anyway. I mean, the CFL needs more fan-sided media. And the Stampeders especially needed some fan-sided media. So I thought, you know what? Let's go all in on the Stampeders.
Yeah.
And have you found it to be a little bit more successful than covering the puck part?
I have, actually. I've seen numbers rise steadily, and that's good. It also helps on the social media side because I'm now just keeping up with CFL fans, Calgary Stampeder fans, and not all over the place like a chicken with my head cut off covering hockey and football and everything. So it's a lot easier on social media. It's a lot easier doing the podcast. And yeah, so now we're Stampeders Roundup. And just want to also mention that it's no longer live. We do a recorded show now because it's much easier to do. It's much easier to produce. And it's just way easier for my schedule. So not live anymore, but still great Stampeders content.
Oh, definitely. We feel the pressure of going live. I will tell you. So we totally get it, but it's really good content. And, we are glad that you decided to focus a little bit more on the CFL because I agree. The hockey content that you see that is fan-sided is definitely oversaturated. There's a lot of it, and it's really hard to kind of make your way through that.
Well, like Jason said, everybody has a hockey podcast, right? Like a lot of people talk hockey, but not enough people are talking CFL, and this is our Canadian product we have up here.
Yes, we need more of
That's
those. So.
that's right. Not to mention, how could Alberta's best team not have that much coverage? So it was needed.
Yes.
This guy.
But you're here today to talk about a certain CFL team that we personally don't like, and a certain CFL game involving that team that we don't like. Yes. So the Stamps defeated the Elks by a score of 31-4, featuring Vernon Adams Jr. for, a pivot for a quarter. So what are your thoughts on the Stamps starting quarterback now?
After seeing him finally suit up in a Stampeders jersey, although I won't put much stock into it because it's preseason and the Elks were in their first game. So, we're playing Elks third stringers, fourth stringers. So, but I mean, as far as Adams goes, he looked good to me. He was throwing darts, right? He didn't miss many targets at all. And there were a couple errant passes, and that was it. I mean, they're almost picked, but still. Throwing darts, obviously has a favorite target, Dominique Grimes, of course, from their BC Lion days. But yeah, I was very impressed with Vernon Adams Jr., and I can't wait till he goes for real.
Yeah, he definitely balled out in that first quarter that he had. Now, another quarterback that we're all keeping an eye out on is PJ Walker. So he's fighting to become the backup in Calgary behind Vernon Adams Jr. Do you like what you see from PJ Walker so far?
Yeah, Walker had a great game. He was 13 for 19 for 138 yards and a touchdown. Now, he did throw 2 picks, and he's kind of infamous for throwing picks. But besides that, he had a great game. He was hitting targets. Very rarely did he miss a target. I think that 1 or 2 maybe, but a lot of the incompletions were receivers dropping the ball, and that's just new guys, trying to crack the lineup that are dropping those balls. So not on PJ Walker at all. I think he had a great game.
Well, and the Stamps also had Dedrick Mills and Joshua Antwi attacking the Elks with a rushing game. So is this going to be the 1-2 punch for the Stamps in the regular season?
Yeah, it's definitely going to be the 1-2 punch with Mills carrying the bread for most of the season, I would say, Antwi being a backup. Mills had a good game, although he didn't see much action. He 3 carries, 5 yards only. He averaged 1.7? Yeah, 1.7 yards. His longest was 2 yards. I mean, not much there. Joshua Antwi, 5 carries for 39 yards, so he did a little bit better. I was impressed with what I saw from him, but then again, I was expecting him to be good and Mills to be. I expect Mills to be good this season as well, as long as he stays healthy. So, yeah, they'll definitely be a good 1-2 punch in the backfield.
Well, and presumed starter, right? Dedrick Mills, I think we all kind of agree that he's going to be the starter. So therefore, you don't really, especially in that game, don't really need to see a whole ton out of him. Joshua Antwi, though, and by the way, shout out Kathy for nailing that one.
That was good.
We all expect me to just completely butcher names around.
I barely nailed it when I was answering the question.
Well, and I screwed it up twice, 2 out of 2. I went 2 for 2 on the screw up. So, no, I mean, shout out to Kathy for that, but also shout out to Joshua Antwi, unfortunately, because he played a really good running game. And the Elks didn't really seem to have much of an answer for that. Oh, did we lose Jason?
He didn't have very long carries. He was 3 for 5 yards, 1.7 average. So
technical difficulties. Sorry, we lost you for a second.
We lost you for a second.
Just give me 1 second. And
there we go. And Jason is back.
You're gonna.
This is the great part about doing this live.
I love it. This is hey man, technical difficulties happen. This is the joys of a live show.
You may
The
have
joys of a live show, yeah.
You may have to change your name again because now you're showing as Catherine and Scout.
Oh, I'm Catherine and Scout again. Hang on, yeah.
You know, as much as we appreciate that, I'm not sure if we want to be really associated with
I mean, you guys could probably use a clone, right?
Oh my god, after this week, yes.
Yes, we could use a couple more arms for sure, maybe a couple more brains, you know. But yeah, no, the running game for Calgary, you know, you can already see where that's taking shape, which is great. Now, talking about the defensive side of the ball, the Stampeders did hold the Edmonton Elks to 4 points in their second preseason game. So, you know, keep in mind that the Edmonton Elks only had 5 or 6 starters, you know, on the entire roster for this one. But, you know, this result, we're talking about 31-4 here. Is that result because of the lopsided rosters, or do the Stamps actually have a good defense this year? I'd love to know your thoughts on that, Jason.
I think they're going to have a good defense this year. I think it's going to be better than previous years. However, I think in this case, it was the lopsided roster mixed with a few good players, you know, battling for spots. You know, looking at the stats, I don't see any incredible stats on defense. So, I mean, that just goes to show how much of the time Calgary's offense spent on the field, yes, and not the defense. So, I mean, we got Sean Peterson Jr. with a couple sacks, a handful of other guys with 1 sack. So, you know, not really incredible numbers on the defense, but there's guys that are definitely going to have a great season. Micah Tates, I think, is going to do good this year. Sean Peterson Jr., I can see doing really well. I would say Ishmael Hyman. Hyman really impressed me in this game, although he's been released. So
I know, I saw that.
That was a huge shock to me.
Yeah. Well, sometimes you don't know. You don't know what it is that.
Yeah.
That makes them keep them. But special teams, they appear to be a cog for the Stamps once again. You know, despite losing special teams coordinator Mark Killam to the Elks. Thank you. Do you think the Stamps have any concerns this year on special teams?
I don't think so. I mean, René Paredes kicking field goals is always, you know, a bonus. I believe did we release a punter yesterday? I can't remember now. Punters, I mean, we won't be punting the ball this much this year, so I'm not going to worry about punting.
Yeah, I like that.
Confident, are we? A little bit confident there.
But punt returns, I mean, Terrell Vaughn, I really liked what he did. He had 1 punt return, but it was 27 yards, very impressive. Eno Benjamin did a great job as well. He's a running back, but I mean, he was returning kicks. He returned 2 for 37 yards, so an 18.5 average. So not bad. I'm not really worried about punt returning either. Nobody really has a really impressive punt returner anymore. I don't think I've seen a really impressive punt returner since who was the guy in Hamilton? Banks?
Speedy B?
Was it Speedy B that was returning punts in Hamilton?
Brandon Banks, I want to say, if you are referring to a Banks.
I believe so. I mean, we don't have anyone explosive like that really in the CFL right now.
No, you're right. And especially here in Edmonton, there is a curse of Gizmo. We do talk about it. We talk about our inability to run that ball back into the end zone, right? So, yeah, I mean, especially on punts, kickoffs is a different story. It's a different formation. It's a different action altogether, we'll call it, right? It's a different play. But when it comes to the punts, have not seen anybody that is spectacular. But as far as special teams, Stampeders, unfortunately, kick a lot of teams' butts in that department. So, yeah, it's very interesting. I will also say shout out to everybody that is tuned in right now. You are locked into the Elks Call. Ryan Messer, we see you, host of the Forge on Top. What up, Ryan Messer? Okay, but speaking of Mark Killam, let's get back to Mark Killam, because he did come up north to Edmonton to take the head coaching job with the Elks. Do you think the Stamps could have kept him in Calgary, or do you think he was destined to take another role elsewhere in the 2025 season?
I personally feel that we could have kept him in Calgary. However, I don't believe we could have kept him with Dickinson still in charge. The only way I could have seen Chisholm staying in Calgary is if Dickinson gave up the head coaching job and stuck to general manager, and maybe Chisholm became head coach. That's the only way I saw him staying in Calgary, but it definitely could have happened. And in my opinion, I think it should have happened. I think both jobs on Dickinson's plate is a little too much in the last couple seasons. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, we've seen how well that works for Chris Jones. That didn't quite work out. And I do actually have a question about Dave Dickinson coming up. So,
well, there you go. But before that, what are your expectations for the Stampeders this year?
I have higher expectations certainly than the poll I saw on social media today, where they had the Stampeders as long shots.
So interesting. Sorry, Jason. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Long shots in the West, finishing last. I think it was. That's crazy. I personally, I don't think they're going to tear up the West and win the West. Although my chat with Ryan Valentine, he said, "How can you honestly say that you expect your team to lose, or you want your team to lose?" I said, "I don't want them to. I'm just a realist. I expect them to lose a few games." He says they're going 18-0, but no, I think we'll be somewhere around 12-6, maybe 11-7. I think we'll finish second or third in the West.
See, 12-6. That's what I was saying about the Double E. So I don't know how many 12-6 teams are going to have in the West.
I don't know.
But it's interesting that you mentioned that graphic, because we have the odds right here. The odds makers have the Stamps at plus 600 to win a Grey Cup. The Elks at 430, plus 430, not minus. So that kind of goes to show where the faith is. I believe they had the Saskatchewan Roughriders at second best odds. And then I want to say the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at the best odds, which means BC Lions in third, right? So really, really interesting to see where odds makers are at already. People are already placing bets on this. That's the landscape we're in right now.
Yeah.
But, the Stampeders have been dwindling near the bottom of the standings for a few years now with the Edmonton Elks. Now, this past offseason saw some teams make wholesale changes, such as the Edmonton Elks, while the Stamps did more of a retool on the roster and made a few changes with the staff. Do you think that this is a critical year for Dave Dickinson as GM and head coach?
Yeah, this is absolutely a critical year for Dave Dickinson. I think a lot of people were shocked last season when a lot of the coaches were let go at the hands of Dickinson. I personally thought that Dickinson, like I said, was going to go to the general manager role full time, and that we'd have a new coach somewhere. But I definitely did not expect the what happened with all the coaches leaving and Dickinson staying. So this is definitely a critical year for him, I think. I think we need to not only make the playoffs this year, but I think we need to do well. So it definitely will be an interesting season.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with grabbing Vernon Adams Jr., making some of these changes, I mean, the roster isn't necessarily bad. We just saw them post a 31-4. Now, once again, reminder that the Edmonton Elks barely had any starters there, barely had any big names.
It doesn't count as preseason.
Exactly, it's preseason. The result technically doesn't matter, but what does is the player development, right? So
yeah,
that's
I'm curious. I'm actually curious to know what your guys' thoughts are on Dickinson this season. Is this a critical year for him, you think?
Oh, I think he's in the hot seat. What about you, Kathy?
Yeah, he would have to be, especially after so many changes, right? If he's the only odd man out that stayed in, well, what does that say, right? You have to prove that you belong there. Otherwise, you're out.
Very valid. And I mean, I don't know the full extent. I know what the Edmonton Elks did. I don't follow the Stampeders that closely in that sense. But I did know that there were some changes. You've kind of just revalidated my opinion on that scenario down there. This is make or break. He is completely in the hot seat. And really, they're in a position now where if Dave Dickinson and the Stampeders don't win X amount of games this season, he may get replaced altogether mid-season. Do you think that that's a possibility, Jason?
I think it's definitely a possibility if it's a very slow start to the season. I mean, if we lose, if we lose 4 or 5 out of our first 9, I think it's definitely a possibility before Labor Day. Definitely.
We're definitely familiar with that kind of territory, so we know it is possible.
Well, and as we say in the CFL, your season doesn't start until Labor Day.
After Labor Day.
So yeah, Labor Day, you can't wear white after Labor Day, and you also can't lose any more CFL games after Labor Day if you're trying to get a Grey Cup.
If we don't have a winning record by Labor Day, I think it's a whole retool and start the season over at Labor Day with a new head coach.
Wouldn't that be painful?
Oh my goodness. But let's take it out of the CFL a little bit. We're going to point out that you live in a battleground city for sports fans, with fans that cheer Edmonton, Calgary, and of course Red Deer. What sports team is best represented in Red Deer these days?
God, I hate to say this, but it's definitely the Oilers for hockey. Football, it's hard to tell. I don't see a whole lot of football fans here. I'd have to say we're probably pretty split for football.
Yeah, I mean, the Oilers are on the run. If we saw Calgary in the playoffs and Edmonton wasn't, then you'd probably see a little bit more Flames action out there. But yeah, I would assume so, because the Edmonton Oilers are on fire right now.
Yep. Yeah, I would say. I mean,
that could be like I seem to always see way more Oilers fans on social media. I always see way more Elks fans on social media. I don't know if it now that, of course, they like to mess with your algorithm. So if you look at one video, they show you a million more of the same content. So
so we're gonna
naturally when I like posts that you guys post, guess what they're gonna show me? All kinds of Elks posts.
Yeah, right after this show, we're gonna get slammed with Stampeders posting content. So hopefully not, but I feel like that's the way that's gonna go.
We'll see.
Yeah. No. So another thing I'd like to talk about. We already had our fan day up here in Edmonton. Down in Calgary, the Fan Fest is this weekend. So have you been to a Fan Fest before?
I sadly have not. Unfortunately, the thing about not living in the city that I'm covering and cheering for is I don't get to as many games as I'd like to, and I don't get to as many events as I'd like to. So I get to maybe one game a season, which is sad, I know, but I'm hoping to get to a lot more this season. And events like Fan Fest, I will be there this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome. What are you looking forward to at FanFest? Like, what do you want to see? What do you want to experience?
I just want to experience the fans outside of a football game, because when you're at a football game, everyone's paying attention to the game, everyone's cheering. You don't really interact a whole lot with other fans aside from the ones in your general area. So I'm going to have fun interacting with a lot of the fans, hopefully, and seeing them unveil the official 2025 roster. That'll be something I'm definitely looking forward to. Pancake breakfast. I'm always down for a pancake breakfast. So
that is always, that's always good. But that's interesting. I kind of like that they announced the roster, the official roster, during the fan day. That's one of the things that we were not really complaining about, but it was a big point of discussion for our fan day, is that a lot of the faces that we saw that day, we weren't sure if we were going to see in a couple of weeks from then. Right?
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Because there's still going to be a lot of cuts. There's still going to be a lot of movements. Who are we? We're getting autographs, and that's great and all, but who is it that won't be there in a couple of weeks? Right? So,
well, case in point, Mr. Steven Stevens and I shook hands and, introduced each other and everything, and he just got cut like a couple days ago. And it's like, oh man, like I just got to know this guy. And to be honest, with our fan day up here, it's usually earlier. It's usually either in between preseason games or before preseason games even happened, which was this year. And it's frustrating because you don't know who's going to be on that roster, just like Kathy said, right? So luckily for you, you're going to be able to see the starting roster there. You're going to be able to interact with those players, I assume. But, you're also not going to be meeting jobbers and talking to people that are just there for an opportunity. No, you're there with the team, which is really special.
Yeah, and I had toyed with the thought of actually live streaming the roster announcement, but then I thought, well, number one, I don't know when they're going to actually do it during the event. Maybe they're going to draw it out over the whole event, so that wouldn't work. And so I thought, okay, that won't work, but that was a great idea I thought of, but that's not going to work. So.
And I'm sure you're going to have to work with the Stampeders on that if you do want to do it. I mean, I would assume, but great idea. Now, the other thing too is, what if they start there, because they might do a red and white scrimmage or whatever, right? That's usually what these teams do at these events. It'd be cool if they announce the rosters there when they do the red and white, right? To kind of introduce them onto the field and get everybody a little bit more amped.
Yeah, and all the posts I've seen and press releases, I didn't see anything about a game happening, but I've seen live entertainment, interactive inflatables, face painting, giveaways, the roster announcement, pancake breakfast, but I didn't see anything mentioned about a red and white game, but that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, yeah, we usually see that here. I remember walking in and they're like, touchdown Elks, and I'm like, well, it's always going to be a touchdown.
Everything else, interception Elks, Elks intercepted Elks. Let's go! I love it.
Well, yeah. But yes, Stampeders Roundup has been a hit on Chuggin Sports Network. Last week you had Derek Dennis, and yesterday you put on an episode featuring Scout over here of the Elks Herd, where you guys broke down the latest game even further. Our viewers can find that episode on our YouTube, which is Chuggin Sports Network. Is it Chuggin Sports
LTD.
Network?
It's Chuggin Sports Network LTD on YouTube.
How do you know that you're the one that always makes this announcement? But where else can we find the Stampeders Roundup?
I am at Stamps Roundup on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky. I'm everywhere. So yeah, right. Where is it? Right there.
Got him.
Pretty much everywhere.
Love it.
No,
and of course on the Shotgun Sports Network.
Mm-hmm.
Best place to be. Like we were talking about, we got quite a few shows on the roster right now. Stamps Roundup is one of them. I mean, if you wanna do some fan talk about the best Albertan CFL team, then you're going to come over here to the Elks Call. But if you want some of that red and white stuff, KFC bucket jersey stuff, I'm throwing in all these tabs at the end.
I'm not a fan of the jerseys. Not a fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to see the traditional, like more of a traditional jersey rather than the throwback. Like I like a good throwback, and I know that the Double E are coming out with throwback jerseys here right away.
Mm-hmm.
But even those are going to get old at some point, and you got to switch it up. And the Calgary Stampeders came out with those jerseys for their 75th, I believe.
Yeah. Me personally, I'd like to see the Outlaw uniforms every game. With the two-tone shiny helmets and
Yeah, the pinball helmet. Yeah, we talk about it every Labor Day, and whenever they make the horse shiny, I point it out and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have really bad memories of the Stampeders beating the Double E with those shiny pinball helmets. So that's I might be a little bit salty about that, but Jason, man. We know that you're sweating just like we are. We aren't going to hold you back here much longer, but thanks a ton for joining us today. We did want to talk a little bit of Stamps. I'm sure we're going to have you on the show again soon, but it's always fantastic talking with you. Also, everybody, if you're looking for a very in-depth breakdown about that Elks versus Stampeders game, go check out Stamps Roundup. We did chat about it the other day. Episode went up yesterday, so go check it out at Stamps Roundup and on Shotgun Sports Network. Jason, thank you so much, my man. We hope you have yourself a fantastic night.
I will. Don't go check that out right now, though. Finish watching them first.
You sweetheart.
We appreciate that. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thanks a lot, Jason.
Okay,
Appreciate it.
guys.
Have a good night.
Have an awesome night, man.
Oh.
Oh.
You may have to get out of here. I can't kick you.
And that was Jason of Stampeders Roundup, apparently controlling this this
Yeah,
podcast.
he's in charge of the Elks of the Elks call now.
We don't like it. Jason, awesome stuff. Really appreciate Jason joining us today.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, co-host of Rouge White and Blue podcast. It is Joe Pritchard. Joe, thank you so much for joining the show today.
It's my pleasure. Always fun to talk to you guys.
Are you guys going through a heat wave too right now, or?
Kind of, sort of. It's summer in Wisconsin, so we're used to temps around 30 plus. Hopefully not getting up into the high 30s, but we're used to it. We deal with it.
Out here with some Celsius for us too, man. You're the MVP.
Because,
yes,
that's
just gonna give another applause on that.
Appreciate that on the end where I don't know the conversion, so I appreciate that. Over here is a little hot though. The problem here with the weather here is that it fluctuates. It goes hot and then suddenly we have thunderstorms and it's just a little wild.
Yeah,
I mean that's what's happening here too. It's hot and sunny, or there's storms, and then it's hot and sunny.
Yeah, we're going through the exact same. So, but our teams are not. Your team is doing pretty good. Unfortunately, our team has started off on an 0-3. Your Winnipeg Blue Bombers are looking good, and we still have months between another matchup for the Elks and the Blue Bombers. So, what have you liked from the Blue Bombers this season?
Well, getting off to a hot start is something we're used to. The 0-4 start last year was like just a complete shock to our system. It took us a long time to get over that. But yeah, they're just coming out playing solid ball. They haven't had some of their talent right off the hop. Brady Oliveira's played like 3 offensive plays or 3 or 4 offensive plays the whole season so far. He is coming back tomorrow night, so I really like that. But then Zach Claros being out the first week, just taking some time to get back in the rhythm of things. Thankfully, it looked like he was definitely on point last week. And if you go take a look over at Paulopoulos' YouTube page, he did a breakdown of Winnipeg's offense against the Edmonton defense this past week that shows Zach's decision making, and it looks like there's no rust there. It's fantastic.
Oh, we know we may not have that specific, happiness about it or excitement about it, but we definitely saw that. And
I will say Matthew Peterson, former Golden Bear, I know we talk about him. I've said his name a couple times, right? We got to watch him here with the U of A, and now he's in Brady Oliveira's spot doing that thing, right? So
pleasant surprise in week 1 too, because nobody knew who he was on our end, right? We figured it out real quick though, right?
That's what matters, especially for him. Especially, being a rookie, definitely has showed his worth, and might as well just keep him. He's a good one.
No, yeah.
And
you almost wonder if they rested Brady an extra week because they knew that they were okay at the position. They also have a couple other young kids they're cycling through. Cooley, an American at the position, which we haven't had for quite some time in Winnipeg. But then Peterson as well, and they just seem to be comfortable with that spot. So having Brady back is obviously the optimal thing there, but it's nice to know there's some depth at that position.
Well, and Peterson being a Canadian fills Oliveira's spot very well. You don't have to make, significant changes to your team to accommodate, let's say, an international in that spot.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's always nice to have a solid backup if anything happens, right?
You need it to win.
You know that you're okay. If, God forbid anything happens, it will be okay.
Yeah, we're far more comfortable with that situation as of now. Yes.
And I know we listened to the latest episode of Rouge White and Blue podcast where you stated that it's not like the Elks were going to win anyway. So, I mean, we have our own opinions and we'll go through that.
Well,
But what is
let's be fair though. Edmonton actually played a real good game last week.
Oh, yeah.
There were a few plays that had they gone a different way. We're talking about a completely different scenario in the ball game. The drop pass in the end zone, the fumble as the Elks were driving, just a couple of things that Winnipeg always seems to have a tendency in the third quarter to have issues on offense, and they let Edmonton back in the game. It's a different scenario if Edmonton has some of those points that they had left on the board earlier, right? They might even have to play from behind in the fourth quarter. Winnipeg's MO is to grind it out in the fourth quarter, take a lot of time on drives and wear the other team's defense down. If they have to keep throwing the ball, might be a different story.
Yes.
Well, and I mean, we've complained about third quarters for the Edmonton Elks, but talking about a losing team over the past few years, right? We're on season 3 now. So for the last, basically outside of this one, for the last 2 seasons, we've been talking about that. But it is interesting coming from, a fan that sees a winning team all the time. Those third quarters, they get a little bit stressful and you don't really expect to see that after a halftime. You want them to keep up the pressure, and they let the other team get into it. And I think that was also part of their issues, let's say, at the beginning of last season as well. But getting back to this Elks game, were you concerned that the Elks might pull it off?
I don't think I ever got super nervous about it because I knew our offense had the ability to start clicking again. There were some times last year where that third quarter stretch where they had 2-and-outs in a row would have started in the early second, and like half the game would have been that way. They'd get off to like a 14-0 start, and then it would be they might score 3 points in the next 2 quarters, and all of a sudden they're playing from behind, and that's not a situation you wanted to be in for that team.
No.
I mean, that also goes to show, right? I mean, how important even the smallest of the plays can be, and the cohesiveness as well. So, on Winnipeg's side, the fact that you weren't worried about it because you knew that at some point they were going to start clicking and start producing more points. Whereas on the Elk side, right now we start getting worried about it because it's those little missed plays that make a difference for us.
Yeah, that's that. Yeah, and for you guys, you have a little bit of insulation there. For Elks fans, not so much, and especially with all the changes that we've seen with our team. Unfortunately, the Edmonton Elks, they still got a long ways to go if they want to look like the Blue Bombers, which the Blue Bombers are a well-oiled machine. Unfortunately for the Elks in this last game.
Yeah, it's actually when I've been watching the Bombers on a weekly basis for over a decade now. I've seen how fast this can flip, because when I started watching the Bombers, it was the opposite. Edmonton was one of those teams that you would reliably make those big plays when they needed to. Second Grey Cup I ever went to in Winnipeg, Edmonton pulled it out. So I've seen Edmonton do that, and I've seen how long it took Winnipeg to build up to the point where Winnipeg fans had confidence in them too. So I'm hoping soon for you guys that you'll be able to see some of that building starting. It feels like you guys have been stuck in the mud for a couple seasons now.
Well, yeah, and I mean a couple seasons versus, let's say, what is it, 29 years Grey Cup drought or somewhere around there, like, crazy amount of time between Bombers Grey Cups. And
yeah, it's really nice not to have to talk about that anymore.
Yeah. I was a little bit disappointed I didn't get that chirp anymore, but
not anymore.
Yeah.
But hey, listen, I wish that I could just say that was her biggest concern. Being a little bit worried, but not so much because we know that they're gonna come back. I wish.
I remember those days.
But Joe, what plays stood out the most in the last Thursday's game for you?
The 2 throws that Zach made into tight windows, one to Wheatfall and one to Dembski.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes that throw last year. So it was really nice to see that happening again. And he had a good season last season, but making the big play like that kind of fell out of Winnipeg's rotation, and it felt like they had to grind out everything. This year, he makes 2 huge throws into tight windows, and that's your difference in your game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I saw those, and after watching that first pass, I was like, oh, there's no way we could have stopped that anyways.
Yeah, and
Like,
especially
regardless.
that weed fall play. I heard that one. I was listening to the game, unfortunately, that night. Got to catch glimpses, but I heard that weed fall, and I was like, oh, dear God, like they're going to do some damage now.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just part and parcel of what they've been able to accomplish over the last 10 years, really, with the same group in the front office until Ted Gavea left for Hamilton in this offseason, is they've been able to replenish. It was the same thing Calgary was doing for almost 20 years until all of a sudden the well ran dry. So you lose a big talent. Like Dalton Schoen went out last year for most of the season. Kenny Lawler was hurt a bunch. Oh, by the way, we have this kid Wheatfall off the bench. We have this kid Ontario Wilson off the bench. Where did these guys come from?
Next man up, right? I mean, that's your scouting departments. That's the
Yeah.
organization as a whole, just doing a good job and crossing the I's and dotting the T's, as we say.
Yep.
Like I will ask though, the Blue Bombers did just play last Thursday, and then they're going to be playing another Thursday game. Do you have any issues with that as a Bombers fan?
No, because the game against Edmonton was on short rest. This is a full week's worth of rest.
Right.
I'll take that. As far as when they're on TV, doesn't really concern me because I figure when they're on, I'm going to watch them. So, in that sense, it's not going to bother me at all. And having a full week is fine, as opposed to the 5 days, because I kind of felt like in that third quarter last week, I was kind of wondering, are they running out of gas? Turns out they hadn't, but it's always a concern when you play on a short week.
Yeah, and at least in this case, it's a full 7 days, right? So it's not so bad. Now, what if it's 2 home games on a Thursday back-to-back? Because, I mean, I haven't seen that yet. And I don't think we have any of those out there on the schedule this year.
No, I wouldn't say
But,
so.
like, would that be brutal?
It doesn't seem to bother Winnipeg fans. They've had like 7 consecutive sellouts, which
talking that trash.
They really
even
the
couple years coming back from COVID and such, they weren't selling out a lot, and then all of a sudden they started doing it last year and just got on this streak, and it's been really fun to watch. I've been in that stadium at its loudest on Banjo Bowl, so it tends to be the trip I make every year to see the Bombers is Banjo Bowl, and then I go to Grey Cups as well. That's turned out to be a Bombers game as well for the last few years. Happy to say that, but no, when that place is loud, it's loud.
Well, and that just goes to say, what happens when teams start winning.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. A lot of that's the problem with a 9-team league.
Yeah.
Is that you're going to have a few winners and a few losers. And I've been around this conversation for 20 years now. Yeah. Whoever's losing is going to have attendance problems. Whoever's winning tends to have better attendance for what they would usually have. And you do have the baseline is different in different cities, of course, but winning solves everything. You're going to do better in the stands if you're winning.
Yeah.
Well, it's black and white. I mean, you take a look at the Montreal Alouettes. I mean, the Toronto Argonauts, obviously, they're a different case, right? I do want to acknowledge that our friends from the Turf District here have chimed in, Joe. Geez, how's a bragging camp?
It's a lot of fun to be on this side of things. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, if you've got it, you flaunt it. If if there's a reason to brag, you brag. So it's not like.
I mean, and let's be fair. Some of the gray here, that's from last November. Sitting and watching my team just have a chance and just kind of let it go away. So
you get the grays, you get the flex, and I mean your team has been in the final in the Grey Cup game, right?
Yeah.
For multiple years in a row now.
Well, and now they have a full week's rest coming up. And Calgary, they look to be a formidable foe. Do you think the Stamps can notch a win against Winnipeg?
I'm not too worried about Calgary yet. They do have a couple wins this year. Vernon Adams has obviously made that team a better team. I just don't know if they have enough around him yet. Maybe give it an off season or two if they can attract a few more big names on that offense. But right now, I don't know who he's throwing to be honest. It's like he's going to make some plays himself because he's that good.
Mhm.
But his receivers, especially with Reggie Begelton out, I don't know how many plays they're going to help him make.
Yeah, they do have some injury issues over in Calgary right now, and it's tough to say if it'll get better or worse. I don't know where their bye week is. You, as host of the Rouge White and Blue, I think you know a little bit better than I do. Turf District does say, I kid my friend, nice to see you all. Awesome seeing you, Turf District. You guys are awesome. Always check out their show, usually on Tuesdays, but they got a little bit of a shift tonight. Love the Turf District. Andrew, Mike, and Kayla, awesome stuff. We also see some questions in here. John, we will get to those. Got to get through ours.
Yes.
So which players specifically have you been watching on the Blue and Gold?
Well, all of them, really. I mean, it's the team. It's the team I watch every week. Rain, shine, tidal wave, whatever, right? So I have a better sense of what they're doing than anybody else because I'm not at this stage of my life. It's hard to sit and watch 4 games, even if I get some delays. Some of the condensed games that have been posted lately have been saving my bacon.
Nice.
To be completely fair, it's a little bit harder to catch the flow of the game as it's going, but you get to see what's happening at least. So, but I think the difference between this year's team and last year's team so far is the defensive line is a lot more solid. James Vodder's coming in helps. The linebacking core is real solid. Lovin Jones in Big Hill's old spot. And the concern you always have losing a guy like Tyrell Ford is, do you have a replacement? Looks like the Bombers found one. Feels like the secondary is as solid as it has been. So the defense is there. The offensive line's had some changes too. It's going 3 Americans this year, which is pretty unusual. But they have enough skill players to make that feasible. And the offensive line's been solid. They've been giving Zach and Chris Strevler time when they need it. Really, I don't have a whole lot of. There's not a lot of areas of concern right now. I also like how Hogan is calling games too. I feel like it's a refreshing change from. It felt like the Bombers got kind of stuck last year. They were a pretty predictable offense last year, and this year it's a little bit harder to go. Okay, that's what they're going to do this play.
Well, and I mean, you year over year, you do want to make certain changes to help get you over the hump. And as we know, Winnipeg is having a hard time getting over the hump every year. So,
yes.
Well, and one of those big changes, like you mentioned, is Tyrell Ford. Thankfully, the secondary seemed to be just a really good replacement. But do fans miss Tyrell Ford? What do you feel like it's the reception over there?
Well, of course, you miss a talented Canadian like Tyrell Ford. Don't get me wrong on that. At the same time, the money he would have brought in was allocated elsewhere. Somewhere else is solid. They were able to get a cheaper American in there. So on that front, it worked out. It's always nice to go into a season knowing what you have and being confident in that, and having the ratio flexibility with another Canadian in the secondary. So far, so good though. I mean, that's a guy I didn't want to see leave, but crossing my fingers, it stays good.
well, and I mean, I don't think anybody wants to lose a fan favorite. I think, there was obviously a little bit of an earworm or a bug in the ear, however you want to put it. So I mean, I don't know. Like you said, it has to do with money as well.
Yeah.
He cost a lot for Edmonton to pick him up, right? So
yeah, we're familiar with that, right? I mean, losing Gina Lewis.
Yeah.
You know, we definitely know how that feels, but at the same time, you understand it as a franchise and where that's going.
Well,
and you
and-
just hope that the replacement is just good enough.
Well, and I think that was also part of what kept Trey Ford in Edmonton as well, is the opportunity to play, like, you know, what are the odds he goes elsewhere, and then, you know, the other team has to go through the same thing, kind of guaranteed the same thing. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not on the other side of that wall, but you do wonder. You do wonder, and a lot of people already love Tyrell Ford as well here in Edmonton, so I think we would miss him too if we lost him at this point. But let's talk Grey Cup, which Tyrell Ford was in last year, that we all watched together. It was great seeing you last year, but last year was in BC. This year is in Winnipeg. Do you think the pressure is raised for the Blue Bombers for this year with the Grey Cup being in Winnipeg?
I think it obviously is, but the way the team is built and the people that are in charge aren't going to let that really affect them. They've just been solid and steady for the last decade. Even when they were struggling to get out of the gates, 2014, they had the big opening. The first, they went like 6-1 in Michael Shea's first 7 games. And for the rest of that season and the next season, they were a disaster. Start 1-4 in 2016, and people start the chatter. It's like, oh, is this going to work? Is this going to work? The whole time, the front office and the coaching staff are just steady. And even boring in their press conferences. It's just, we'll just take a look at the film, we'll fix the mistakes we have and keep going from there. And it's just been the same philosophy from the beginnings where they started at absolute rock bottom to now. Yeah. So yes, it's going to be a little bit of extra. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit of extra pressure, but it's also an organization that knows how to handle that too.
Are you sure? You sure sound confident. Oh my god! Like it's. I'm not gonna say frustrating. Maybe I'm just a little jealous.
You just don't know what it's like.
I've never spoken like that.
No, but like you are an Edmonton Oilers fan, so I mean, there's a point where you could probably talk like that, but you're not hardcore on Oilers. You're a massive football fan, which is amazing. But you have not seen the double E's.
No,
like I have
not.
Right?
I have not had those feelings.
When you were mad that the team lost a game for the first time in like five games, and you're blaming the defensive coordinator, and you're like, fire this guy sucks, and like, team's fine. I mean, 2017, 2018 asks. That's how I would, Joe, like, Winnipeg fans get to be like that right now. We are on the other side of the fence, but no matter what, the Edmonton Elks still can make it to the Grey Cup. We're talking a little bit of Grey Cup. So
tons of football left.
That's early.
Football left in the season. But so let's talk about Grey Cup a little bit more, because we tried to get into Shark Club last year in Vancouver, and we could not for the CFL Fans Fight Cancer Grey Cup party. So, it's a big event. I know that you kind of want to talk about this because you've been plugging away on the socials about it and in the group chats. Now, what this is every year CFL Fans Fight Cancer hosts a massive party with raffles and prizes in the host city on Grey Cup weekend, all in the name of charity. So what are the plans for this year, and how can we find out more?
So it's CFLFansFightCancer.com. Just straight, no spaces, no nothing like that. The party this year is at Tavern United in Winnipeg. Traditionally, it's the Saturday before Grey Cup, 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. There's also plenty of other events going on all around the nation. Different dates, different times, lots of people raising money for this. If you remember last year when Chris went ahead and did the nine games in 9 cities.
Yeah.
Carrying a bucket for CFL Fans Fight Cancer. Got a lot of donations that way. There's also a traditional Banjo Bowl pregame thing on Friday night before Banjo Bowl. That's starting to become a fundraiser for CFL Fans Fight Cancer. So it's not just a one day thing anymore. It's become a year-long thing. Right. So keep your eyes peeled on your socials and on the site too for different ways that this can come about. You can also just donate straight from the site. There was a store that was running. It is closed as of this time. I believe they're going to reopen it a little bit later this year. So keep your eyes open for that as well. Just so many different ways you can contribute and be part of it.
Totally. No, and we always participate in the summit every year to start the season. So first round, our friends at the Turf District, they're the ones who host that event on an annual basis to get the season started. We do it all at the same time or same day, but different times or whatever. But, it's always fun to be a part of that. We've talked CFL Fans Fight Cancer on this show multiple times. We love that organization. We love what it does. It's always great football, charity,
fantastic cause too.
Exactly. And then another cool thing together, and it might not seem like it right now because of political strife, but Rouge White and Blue, right? Rouge White and Blue is the show that Joe co-hosts with Oz Davis. So you guys are on your second season now on Shotgun Sports Network. How's things going with Rouge White and Blue, my man?
I think we're like 10 away from 300. So we've been doing this a while. Actually, we started in like late October of 2015, I believe. So probably the first month we were doing shows, we were talking about Edmonton winning a Grey Cup. So it is within the history of our show that we've talked about that. So we haven't talked about Saskatchewan winning a cup, BC winning a cup, or Hamilton winning a cup. So you got that going for you. But just as far as things are going, we typically recap the week past. We go ahead and preview the week ahead, throw a little bit of the spread in there just to talk about that and how it affects how people are predicting these games, but we just have a lot of fun with it.
No, you guys are a blast. Oz has an amazing radio voice. You have the brain. You guys make a fantastic combo and convos over there at Rouge White and Blue. Latest episode is now up and available at Shotgun Sports Network. Once you're done watching this show, you can watch Rouge White and Blue. So do please.
Yes, and you can watch how hard Oz works to make me sound smart.
But all right, before we move on to the fan questions, do you think the Bombers are going to make it to the Grey Cup?
Coming into the season, I had some doubts. But seeing them come out the way they have, it's going to be an interesting run between them and Saskatchewan. And given that Saskatchewan has been knocking on the door for most of the last 5 seasons when they decide to actually win games after Labor Day, if they do that, it's going to be a very interesting November, that is for sure. And eventually our number is going to come up. But until they knock us off, I'm expecting them to be there.
There's still a lot of football left. There's still a lot of football left in the season. No, and let's go with John's latest question here because it kind of coincides with this. What team, I guess, besides Saskatchewan, are you worried about the Blue Bombers playing?
Well, we're done with BC. Thank you for that scheduling quirk. And given the way that their season's going, I don't expect to see them in November. Let's see, Calgary. Calgary is going to need to do a little bit more work for me to get too worried about them, although they always do play the Bombers tough. It seems like there's if they play 3 games, 2 of them are tight. If they play 2 games, both of them are tight, usually coming down to the last drive. So, I mean, they play interesting games with them no matter what. I think my biggest concern right now, besides Saskatchewan, because that's the team you don't want to lose to, of course, like anybody but them, right?
Right.
But right now, I mean, the only team out east that seems to have everything together, assuming that Davis Alexander returns to health pretty soon, is Montreal. And we saw what happened in 2023 in November, so I have good reason to fear that.
And it's not Alexander Davis. It's definitely Davis Alexander.
Yes.
As we know. Well, it's his fault for having a weird look. I'm just kidding.
Yes, and I had some doubts about him that are fast fading. So
yeah. Well,
every time Montreal makes a move, that comes out of left field like that, I should just go, okay, they know what they're doing. Let's just assume it'll be fine.
Right. Yeah, I
But
feel
then
like
again, for like the first 7 or 8 years of Rouge White and Blue, it was, what the hell is Montreal doing? Do they know what they're doing?
But here's the thing, okay? They actually figured it out, and they developed their own quarterback in-house behind veterans, behind even a Cody Fajardo, who's been in the game for he's a veteran. He's now QB2 over here in Edmonton. So like, you take a look at what they did. They weren't worried about losing Cody because they had full faith in.
They knew what they had, and nobody else did.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's a testament to Montreal's system. Jason Moss is doing fantastic. Unfortunately, Edmonton was a stepping stone, but who knows? Maybe he returns one day. For now, we got our own new head coach who hopefully goes on a path like Mike O'Shea. Let's take a look at these chats, the herd chat here. John, we will get to the Drake OVO later on in the show. Yeah, let's ask this one last one here by John. Joe, what are the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and Saskatchewan Rough Riders doing right, and the other 7 teams not doing right? And I think this also has to do with that revenue report that came out stating that 2 teams made money and the other 7 did not.
Right.
And I want to say this to 2 teams.
Yeah, it helps to have a rabid fan base, right? And either having just a fan base that's going to show no matter what, like Saskatchewan, or in Winnipeg to some extent too. But I remember some days that stadium was a little bit more than half full. It's been there. It happens when you don't win very often, but that's what's been happening lately. Saskatchewan's starting to win again, and that gets their fan base fired up. Winnipeg's been winning for a while. Their fan base is fired up. And then they have good coaching staffs, and they've kept cohesion with their teams too. So they have staffs that know what they're doing with players that know what they're doing. And it just coming out of the gates this year, those are the 2 teams, plus Montreal for 3, that just look like they didn't have an off season. They just look like, okay, we're back, let's go. They don't need 3, 4, 5 weeks to find their footing.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised.
Warm up that takes 3 to 4 games.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised Toronto is having the trouble they're having, but their losses must have been a lot worse than I expected them to be, because Ryan Dinwiddie usually has that team firing on all cylinders pretty quickly too. Even with it always seems like the beginning of their seasons are a bit bumpy and a bit rocky, but right now it's a little bit bumpier and rockier than I'm used to seeing from them.
Well, and the Argos are kind of like the Blue Bombers. I mean, that's why they keep on going to the Grey Cup is, they can recover from this type of adversity. Once again, same deal as the Blue Bombers. You guys had a bad one last year. You made it to the Grey Cup. This year, you guys are looking pretty hot. Anything can happen. But they are looking really good right now.
Yeah.
Joe, we're not going to keep you for much longer here. Where can we find you?
We do have one last question. Sorry.
Oh, one last.
Our friends from the Turf District that sneak one in. Do you notice any new fans watching from the U.S.?
That's a good question.
I do see it more often on socials lately, just anecdotally, or just seeing with the way Blue Sky is set up, you see feeds that show you every mention of the CFL. I'm seeing a few more Americans than I'm used to seeing participating in that. I wish I could say that, hey, look, I've recruited like 10, 15 new fans. We're all going to come up for a game sometime. I've been over for like the last 20 years on that. So I've done absolutely nothing right on that front, at least face to face.
I feel like
hopefully Rouge, White, and Blue has helped somewhere. But
very true. And I feel like having 2 Winnipeg Blue Bombers fans in Wisconsin is more than enough right now. So
we could use a lot more than that.
In Chippewa Falls, I mean, we could still use more in Chippewa Falls. That's the spirit. No, you guys do fantastic. Even what was it? New England Sports Report has been a massive CFL fan now, and New England Sports Report obviously covers New England, like the Patriots and some Boston sports and everything else, but happening in mass. But that's kind of a small sample size of how the CFL is reaching out. Do you think that the CBS Sports deal has kind of helped with that?
Honestly, I think it's hindered it because it's harder to find CBS Sports Network in the U.S. It's you have your basic tier of channels. You have your second tier that you're usually paying a little bit more. And sometimes that CBS Sports Network is on like the third tier where you're having to spend a ton of money on it. And it's only half the game, so the other half you have to go find streaming on the league website. Whereas if they did all from if you did all the streaming from CFL Plus in the US and charged like a nominal fee, you'd have a lot more people. Probably at least the hardcores would be able to go, okay, I can find it every week. Here it is. It's easy enough to do. But it does getting it in front of people that are channel flipping, right? That does help. The thing that they used to have with ESPN, they were getting a lot less revenue with. But if you had an ESPN subscription, you either get the game on ESPN2 or the ESPN streaming service, and you just click open the ESPN app. As long as you're subscribed to ESPN2, here it is. It's all in the same spot. They don't have that right now, so it's a little bit more difficult.
It's good that the CFL didn't make it to the Ocho. Sorry.
But so, what do you think is the contributing factor for a little bit more? I don't know.
Uptick.
In the U.S.
Just football is huge here. So having the UFL or the old XFL, the old USFL, now the UFL, does get a decent amount of viewers for a sports product, just in general. And the NFL is obviously the elephant in the room. I do notice U.S. fans talking about it more from June to August, the CFL, and then disappearing in September. The ones that continue to talk about it after September, I'm like, I want to be your friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do notice, out of all the people I do see in the U.S. that are watching it, a lot of media members, like people that are there was a guy that was the sports manager over at CBS 58 in Milwaukee, just ended up now down in North Carolina just this past year. But he was playing CFL fantasy football with me for a couple of years. So that was pretty interesting to have. And I do see a lot more, it seems like if I see a random CFL fan, they tend to be a member of the media somewhere somehow.
Interesting. Yeah. That was James. The only Soder. What I think for biggest contributing factor, Rouge White and Blue podcast. I think that's
I sure hope so. I hope we've helped in some way.
Fantastic. It's literally one of my favorite shows. I do listen to you guys on TuneIn. I listen to you guys. I don't know if I've hit you up on iHeart yet, but variety of ways, YouTube usually, and that is here on Shotgun Sports Network. But where can our viewers find you online?
Well, if you're finding the Elks Call, you can find us at the same spaces. Shotgun Sports Network, obviously, on YouTube as well, under Shotgun Sports. Our podcast is on, our audio-only version is on Podbean, so that can be found Apple, Google, iHeart, TuneIn. Just about anywhere any podcast you have should be able to find it. And if you know of one that we're not on, let me know so I could fix that.
Ooh, I like that.
You know, yeah, that's
like
write that down because I forget all the time. We should look into that.
Where aren't we? Man, can't thank you enough for tonight. We won't hold you back any further, but thanks a ton for joining us tonight on the Elks Call. I'm sure we're gonna see you again soon, my man.
Always here if you need me.
Thanks, man.
Thank
really
you so
appreciate
much,
it. And go Elks. Go Elks, but nice win, man.
Yeah, go Elks until the next time we see you.
Exactly.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. We
Same to
appreciate
your
that.
team.
Have a good night, Joe.
And that was Joe Pritchard of the Rouge White and Blue podcast, talking a lot of Bombers. Talking a lot of Bombers. Unfortunately, the Edmonton Elks did lose to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. But ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, please welcome back to the show 1/3 of the Argos Fancast. It is Clay Chisholm.
Hi, Clay.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Oh man, super thrilled to see you once again. man, we haven't seen you for a hot minute. I know we're going to talk about what you have been up to, but we're thrilled to have you back. Let's get this going. So we're super appreciative of your time. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, make sure you throw your questions and comments into the herd chat, and we will get them onto the show. But man, what have you been up to over the last while?
Well, we put out a couple shows. We've had a few tailgates. Ate some good food. Drank some good beers. Yeah, just watch some good football.
That's the life. Are you an NFL fan?
Oh yeah. Pretty much, if you put football in front of me, I'm going to consume it.
There you go.
There was a time where we had the CBS Sports Network used to air the Max Preps Game of the Week, U.S. high school football, and I was watching that too.
Nice.
I had my the Maction Tuesdays, I think it was the MAC conference in the NCAA. So, if it's football, I'm probably going to enjoy it.
I love it. I love it. And I mean, talking about football, to bring it back to our dear CFL, the Toronto Argonauts, they have been rolling along. They started the season a little shaky, but they seem to be turning it around. So what are your thoughts on the Argonaut season this far?
The offense is almost unstoppable at this point. We're starting to get healthy as far as our O-line goes, which is a big plus. And Nick Arbuckle's playing out of his mind. This is the Nick Arbuckle that we traded for like right before or right after COVID, somewhere along those lines, and then we didn't get that one. We got some other one, and we let him go.
You got the Nick Arbuckle that we
the one the Nick
Well, yeah, you took him from us,
Yeah.
And I think he had to stop in Edmonton, but now he was shaky at the beginning. He was making some ill-timed turnovers when they mattered the most. But now he's cleaned that up, and he's firing on all cylinders. He's got a very good rapport with Jay Kerslow, and he's starting to pick it. He's starting to find the go-to guy, the guy you want whenever you need 10 yards, need 15 yards, need something. And Dejan Brissett has stepped up into that role, previously held by DeVaris Daniels. But with those guys on the shelf, DeVaris Daniels and now Devontae Coxey, we plug and play. Hey, Mackay Polk is back, the rookie of the year. Like it's the offense is clicking like it's no tomorrow, and the defense is slowly coming out of that. We called them really horrible at the beginning. Then they moved up to bad, and now they're just defense. They're not good yet, but they're starting to climb those rungs there. So we're starting to pick it up when we really need to, and unfortunately, I think we need to run the table to really do anything to make sure we make the playoffs.
Not a bad defense, not a good defense. I think I like that. Just defense. That's they're a defense. They're a defense. I mean, they're not bad, they're not good, but they exist and they're doing their job moderately well. Now, speaking of quarterbacks, I do kind of want to bring this one up now while we're on the subject. Nick Arbuckle playing rather well, but then you have Chad Kelly back on the turf, back to practicing, and technically maybe sneaking into QB2 here again, and then potentially QB1. So what do you think the odds are on Chad Kelly taking back that starting quarterback role?
Well, it is his role. And there's the old rule, you don't lose your job because of an injury. Yes, they put him on the active roster. Yes, he's got the official comeback, like you put out in his video, but he's not there yet. He's still got some mobility issues, so he is not ready. And I know Dinwiddie has already said that Nick Arbuckle's a starting quarterback this week. So if we do see Kelly, it'll be as a third quarterback. I don't think he's going to be suiting up in the game, but every time I say that, something changes. So
we never know until it happens.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But besides that, I mean, obviously with Nick Arbuckle, you have a really good player right there. But who would be your top 3 difference makers on the Argonauts right now?
Spencer Brown. Be the number one guy that's changed things as far as the offense goes. They thought that Deontay McMahon was going to be the guy. We never believed that on our show. And then you've got the Chalk Williams from Ohio State, and he looked to maybe be the guy, but he wasn't getting enough touches to really see anything. And then Spencer Brown, they traded for his rights, brought him in right away, and he has looked like what we needed. You know, as far as other guys, I mean, you have to put Herslow on there. You know, the guy went from, you know, not being able to crack the starting lineup or even, you know, crack the game day roster to you can't take him out of the game. He's got something like, you know, 5 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
Wow.
And, you know, like 400 yards. You can't not take it, you know, he's
Got to keep
that
him.
guy. He's got that guy. I want to go somebody on the defense, and that guy's going to be Derek Sluka, our safety, who had a cup of coffee in the NFL as a receiver, but traditionally a safety. The dude hits people like they stole something from his mom.
Like,
he runs through people like he just like pinball just gave him the speech of a lifetime, and he put 7 brick walls in front of him. He's going through all of them, and then unfortunately there has happened to be other players in his way.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
And those are always great to see. I'm a big fan of good tackles.
Yes.
As we have seen over
tackles.
Good tackles.
Hard hitting safeties are just beautiful. Like they're a thing of beauty as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Oh,
I agree.
yeah, and I mean that's why we love Nick Anderson as well. So, yeah, no, we share that same love for the heavy hits. Now, as we know, Elks versus Argonauts, big game this weekend coming up. Got to know, as Mr. Argos Fancast over here, one of 3. Are you concerned about this game coming up?
Oh, I'm concerned about all the games coming up. Like I said, we basically need to run the table, and you know, we more or less we need help. Yeah. But this game, every game is a must-win at this point for us. We need to keep pace with you know, half the league who's vying for our 3rd playoff spot. Because if we win, then we're at 5-8,
right?
And then we need you know, Montreal to lose, BC to lose, and that puts like 5 teams at 5-8 vying for the 2 playoff spots in the East. So we need this win to keep pace, and we need help. So yeah, this is. But I mean, you guys have been playing out of your mind as well too lately. Was you on a 4 or 5 game winning streak, something like that? And there's no way we can take you lightly at all, because I mean, you've got Mark Kill. He didn't look like the heir apparent that everybody thought he was at the beginning of the season, but it almost seems like players are starting to buy in. And when you get a special teams coach getting the whole team to buy in, you're a scary bunch. Mike O'Shea was the other guy that went from special teams coach to head coach. He had a little bit better of a team to work with than you guys did when you got your special teams coordinator. But it's those guys are guys. If you can motivate guys that are basically getting paid minimum wage to go out there and run down the field at 20 miles an hour and crack somebody's skull and hopefully you don't die yourself, those guys can really get people to buy in. And when they do, they are scary. They're very scary. The other one that I would point out would be Jeff Reinbold. Few generations ago when he was coaching in Winnipeg, but then everywhere he went as a special teams coordinator, he always had people buying in right away. So you guys are sneaky scary at this point. I would say scary based on where we are. For a Calgary fan or a Saskatchewan fan, you're sneaky scary. But you're scary for us right now because we're looking up at everything. So.
Yeah, I mean, biting away at a potential crossover spot, and I mean between you and Ottawa as well, Toronto and Ottawa.
Mm-hmm.
I mean it's really going to be week to week here in the CFL to figure out exactly where everybody's sitting, right?
I think we've gotten to that point, and as you mentioned, with Toronto and Edmonton, both those teams are being placed in a situation where they really, really have to fight for a spot.
Yeah.
So now it's when it starts getting good. Every single match
the season has started.
The season has started. Every single match counts. So this is going to be a battle.
It's almost like the CFL marketing staff planned this or something. It starts at Labor Day, and every year it just seems that it just happens. Like everything gets more intense, and then I can't remember a season where you could really predict everything top to bottom.
Yeah.
And at this point, I think the only thing you can really predict is Saskatchewan should win the West.
Should.
But the way things have been going the last couple of weeks,
they could lose it too.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, maybe not lose all the way out, right? But I mean, they could lose that first place position in that home bye. So it's always exciting.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting one for sure. But let's switch it a little bit because we do have a couple of questions that are not necessarily just football. But we want to talk about controversies a little bit.
Yeah. Right.
The Argonauts and the NFL's Buffalo Bills just recently announced a partnership to help grow football in Toronto. So what are your thoughts on that?
I'm still, and I said this on my show earlier today, I'm still kind of a wait and see at this point. The 30-minute press conference, they said a lot of words, but there wasn't a whole lot behind them. So I'm not freaking out at all. Like there are a lot of people on there freaking out, and there's no substance behind their freak out other than they hear NFL.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've read, I went on Reddit, to Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I read a whole bunch of threads on these things. And not one person could tell me why it was so, worrying and stuff like that. I can see, it's somewhat insulting for some of the hardcore Argo fans. You go and do something like this with an NFL team, but you're not going to push your own team kind of thing. I get that. But at the same point, it's there are a lot, like they said, and they wanted to bring their best practices up here,
right,
to help us. I know they are here to help themselves.
Right.
Well, okay. Last year, the NFL rolled out their international markets,
right,
and so every team was given an area in a country or a whole country. Some got countries in Europe. We happen to fall into the Buffalo Bills area.
Naturally.
This is their first foray up here into doing some of this of international market stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a great decision on the Bills' part to go and say, hey, who is the strongest sports organization right now in Canada that just happens to be 75 miles from our stadium? MLSC, let's go and hit them up. MLSC goes, hey, yeah, you guys got money to, we can do something, right? Like this is pure business, So some of the other things that go around this, I think, are nice to haves, and I'm a wait and see. They're starting up a minor football league for youth. They had a camp with a couple teams there at BMO Field on Tuesday, and that's supposed to grow the game. Kids excited on the GO train afterwards. I had a friend who happened to be riding with them, and he said they were all rambunctious and excited, talking about both NFL and CFL stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing here is that, Toronto is a very major market. I don't exactly know the right term for it, but there's a lot of people here who last week said football's back.
Right.
Right when the NFL started. Now,
CFL fans take offense.
Like, come on.
Now, the other thing with those fans is some of those men may not have been exposed to our game, whether it be by choice or just by happenstance. There, wasn't something that was in their household. But getting them on our side, or getting them to take a look at the Argos, hey, bring them out to a game. They may see something they like. We're not a perfect league, but goddamn, these games are fun. And if you get some of these guys watching these games, they're going to go, goddamn, these games are fun. Hey, I just watched one of those games. I want to watch another one. Or, I just saw the same thing happen to my Buffalo Bills, and they came back. I can watch that on Saturday night. Fuck yeah.
Well, and that's exactly it. Like, the Buffalo Bills, they will also be assisting in this future of football game, football futures or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I forget the exact term, but that's going to be a theme night. I believe I saw like October 3rd or something in there. And the Argonauts will be collaborating with the Bills to give away these towels and certain promotional items and to sell some of this merch. We will be talking about this later on, so I don't want to dig in too much, but I do appreciate your thoughts on it. And like,
for sure, I think it's important to hear also from the people that are being directly affected.
110%. That's why I don't like the details. Let's get them out now. We're going to have our own thoughts on them, so we're not going to share ours. But I mean, this is you take a look at Toronto. There's so many Buffalo Bills fans there. There's season ticket holders. People travel out every game day from Toronto to Buffalo, so it does indeed kind of assist with the attendance. Do you think there's going to be an uptick from this?
I hope. One of the things that they are doing that I don't think it was getting enough publicity was they are selling tickets in the East Concourse, so the side that the TV sees, that for $20, with the possibility of adding on a youth ticket for $5.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
$25 doesn't even it used to get you into the game. $25 does not get you a ticket in Toronto anymore. It's, I think, $28.
Right.
But $25 and you can get 2 seats. You bring your kid.
No question.
But I don't think that it's just a matter of, okay, how am I going to get down there? Well, hey, the GO train runs right there. for anybody not familiar with Toronto, that's the big train that runs along the south end and a few other places there. Not the subway, but and for the weekends, $10 per ticket, all you can ride.
Yeah, that's not bad.
So you're
Yeah.
you're in for $45.
Yeah.
Come on down. If you can't afford stadium food, come to the tailgate.
Yeah.
Tailgate feeds everybody. And or head across the Liberty Village and grab go to a couple of the restaurants there and grab something, come back. My favorite thing, go to 8 Mile Pizza, which is Detroit style deep dish pizza. Amazing. But that's for another show. But yeah, there's okay. It is probably the most affordable way to go to any sporting event right now in the GTA.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we're familiar because there's not that much parking around Commonwealth Stadium unless you have a tailgate pass.
Yes.
So, City of Edmonton has been preaching over here as well. Use public transportation, and at least it's cheap, but Toronto's just so much bigger.
I've been in Toronto, and I have seen the traffic in Toronto, and there's no way I would ever want to drive there. I'm sorry. There's just no way. I'll take the bus.
I drive down to the games every chance I can get, but I'm also going a little bit early to tailgate. So, and I learned how to drive in this. So this is it's not that big of a deal to me.
However, next year the FIFA World Cup will be coming. So
yes,
let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one.
That's huge. You're going to miss 3 tailgates, and it might be a little bit more congested in town. So I got to ask, FIFA is going to be using BMO Field. The Argonauts will be utilizing other stadiums as their home base. So how has the reception been on MLSE's plan for those away games? Or sorry,
they are away games. They're being sold as away games to fans in Saskatchewan, Winnipeg, and Hamilton. So they are away games. I want to think that they did a lot more than it sounds like they did to try and find other alternatives. I have a feeling it came down to money. And, they are, I believe they're purposely not publicly telling us that they've sold the games like they have in the past for Touchdown Atlantic and stuff like that. Based because if they tell us they sold the games, then we know they didn't really try anything else. They looked at the highest possible revenue locations and said, okay, this is that's what I believe happened. Keith Pelly talked to 3 Down Nation and said a bunch of words, but didn't actually give you any information.
Seems to be a theme, Clay. Seems to be a theme.
Yeah. He said they looked at U Sports stadiums, Varsity, Queens, and Guelph, but they felt this was the best decision. Like, I think it was the best decision for your pocket.
Because it's presumably they're going to be picking up a bunch from the ticket sales, right? As bringing an extra game.
Well, I think it's a flat rate. You sell the game, right? They'll pay, and then whatever they make it. Yeah, I'm trying to be very measured with my words because to be honest, it's I want to throw a flag right here because I'm going to say it's complete bullshit what they did.
Yeah,
we got to.
But you're also at the whim of the biggest, the most corrupt sports entity on the planet. This is another thing that I think most people did not pick up and all that. FIFA requires that no events or teams be in the facility
Right.
1 full week before and 1 full week after the last event or the last game of the event. So, like,
Why?
it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Why? A whole week.
Well, because they want to do their preparations, all of this other
It's
stuff.
soccer.
Right?
You need a ball.
It is FIFA. It is. All you need is a ball and a net, bud.
It's FIFA. We've heard rumors as to what it was for them to come and tour your facilities.
Right.
Like like we're talking, in the $10-15 million for a 2-day trip.
Correct.
For these people.
Yeah.
And they have a rider for all these things that makes the most the biggest rocks. They make Gene Simmons look like he's not money hungry.
So, and because of that, you'd figure that they just want to get in and out.
Yeah.
Just all that.
Well, they're getting what they want. That way they can work on their own time schedule.
Right.
Not many of us are happy with it. I don't think any fan of any team that got displaced like this would be happy about it. It's just it hits us a little bit harder because this is now the second time in in 11 years that this is going to happen to us.
Right.
Well, and we went through the same thing back in 2015, right? For the same deal. That's why the Northern Kickoff, the preseason game was up in Fort McMurray, and then the regular season game, the season opener, which was the home opener for the Argonauts, was up in Fort McMurray. So, I remember that. With this scenario, I will also say I think we kind of dodged a bullet here.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe it was a little bit of Commonwealth lost the bid.
Yeah, but I mean, it is FIFA and it is really cool. I mean, I'm happy for everybody in Toronto.
Yeah, it's going to make people a ton of money.
Yeah.
And it's going to bring a lot of eyes to the tournament. I just hope they have some kind of, buses have like Argos ads or something like that.
Got to make it up somewhere.
Knowing FIFA, they probably bar that. So
probably.
Yeah.
But
I mean, so this is going to be in BMO Field.
That's in BMO.
Yeah.
But aren't they expecting a lot more people for games than the capacity of the stadium?
Yeah, there's a Reno expansion, right?
Oh,
they're going to be adding 17,000 temporary seats in both end zones.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay.
The bright side to that for us is when this is over, we're now going to have a new set of luxury and VIP boxes and a rooftop patio on the north end zone that is supposed to connect both concourses.
Interesting.
Well, at least if there's
we're getting something out of it, I guess.
All right, I would like to get to some herd chat comments because we have quite a few in here. Ginger Argo is also in the herd chat, so
he does say Clay. All right, let's see. Let's take a look. All right, we already went through some of these, John. He was on the roll. We already asked about the MLSE partnering with the Buffalo Bills, so we got that one.
Nice.
He also...
And we also got, what do you think of the Argonauts playing 3 away games?
Yeah, there you go. We talked about that.
Yeah, don't like it at all.
Yeah, we talked about FIFA as well.
Just knocking this off here. Charlie does say, hi, Catherine and Scout. Cheers, Wild Bull was awesome. And then I believe he also had a compliment for the guest. Yeah. Great guest,
folks. Yeah, I mean, some of the questions, John was on them. We answered them.
Ginger Argo also did say his opinion. The Bills and Argos deal will not destroy the CFL.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It's probably what people think.
Yes. So
also, if there are any fans of the tailgate, the Argos tailgate, Ginger will be doing his world famous armadillo eggs.
Yeah.
This Saturday.
What are those? Like that's
Bacon
like,
wrap goodness.
is it actually armadillo?
No, it is it's either a jalapeno or a sweet pepper with a cream cheese mixture, wrapped in spiced ground pork, wrapped in a bacon weave, and smoked to perfection and covered with barbecue sauce.
Oh, I've seen them so much on social media. It makes me want to make them at home, but I know that it's not going to have that ginger Argo touch on it. So, yeah, gotta have it.
That's delicious. There is this question. Should we answer?
Yeah, let's. John, you got one on the show. What Toronto CFL stadium was better? Rosedale Field, Varsity Stadium, CNE Stadium, Rogers Center, or BMO?
Well, okay. Rosedale Field, I've only seen in pictures and black and white, so I don't know much about that. Old Varsity Stadium, I only had a little bit of experience with. The new Varsity Stadium is nice. It's a great for preseason game. It's just too small. CNE, you were playing on carpeted concrete. And half the stands, once the Blue Jays showed up, were away. I never saw a game there, but I've seen enough and talked to enough people that, you know, there's a lot of memories there and a lot of personal stuff. But Skydome, I have a personal attachment to it because I got to play there as a kid a lot. Got to see a lot of games there. I got to go there when in the 1991 season with the Rocket, where they were selling out that place and it was insane. Yeah. But as far as places to watch a game, BMO Field by a mile. Amenities, there's some discussion there, but to watch a game, BMO Field by a mile.
Nice. And we've been fortunate enough to visit. When the defense is out there, the opposing team's offense is out there, the tin bashing noise, it gets so loud. You love it. And yeah, I mean, Rogers Center or the Skydome, right? Great place. But luckily for you, you've gotten to see a little bit more than we have. But I think we're pretty equal there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You've just seen a couple more pictures than we have, but no, it's amazing. And I did see that John said that the Elks and the Green Bay Packers should do something together. I completely agree.
That's a little bit farther away than, say, Buffalo from Toronto. But you know
just
what? We do have the same uniforms, so
similar.
Yeah, but unfortunately, I think the NFL assigned Manitoba to them. So.
Yes, because I think we are either Seahawks or Vikings.
Yeah,
it's like Vikings.
Yeah, they don't get to choose their areas.
Yeah.
You know, there's some southern U.S. teams that got, Germany. You know, there was didn't make a lot of sense, but
no, they just put names in a hat.
Oh,
exactly. Here you go. That's what you get.
Yep.
Are you north? Yep. Oh, Ginger Argo does actually have a question for Clay. Who's going to win this weekend?
That's not a question. The Argos are going to win. I've said the Argos are going to win by 9.
By
9.
That's a consensus that we came with on our show. Although Will says they're going to win by several more scores, but he's always going to be a little bit more that way. But yeah, I think our offense is going to be a little bit more than your defense can handle. And I think we're going to win by 9. And we're going to be at home. And we got revenge on our minds from the last game we played against you.
Fair.
That is fair. See, now I'm scared.
Well, no, we disagree.
That was way too much confidence right there.
Yeah. Question. Whoa, Clay. Whoa, man. Take it easy. Call the ambulance, but not for us. Okay, we aren't going to keep you much longer. I do want to ask, though, Shotgun Sports Network, Argos Fancast uniting and making some magic happen. How has that experience been over on your first year with a recorded show or with a show?
It's been a lot of fun. There's some hiccups along the way, some things we learned, and still learning some things about because we were venturing into a whole new medium too, because we were just audio. So and I hadn't done video stuff for several years since I did the stuff with the Argos Admirals with my son. So it'd been a while since I did any of this, so to relearn some stuff. But it's like riding a bike. You get doing it. It's going to learn some new things, some things I want to try, and we're going to try. They may or may not work. They may fail. But we'll try them, and whatever sticks, and whatever doesn't.
Yeah, that's fair. Just don't go live.
We love live, but
we have to. No, we do. It's just there comes a lot of issues with live shows versus recorded shows, of course. But
we're not there yet.
Just wait until you move studios and everything, then it gets real interesting.
Oh yeah.
Well, once we get all of our little pieces that I want to put in. I mean, we got to the point where we were doing just the audio show. Everything was recorded in one shot. There was no editing. I was trimming the front and back end of it, and that was it.
Right.
But I had everything going in during the broadcast, and that's where I want to get before we can go live. But we'll get there at some point. But yeah, it's been fun. It's kind of reinvigorated me a little bit.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great. That's great.
Thrilled your show is on the network. You guys are fantastic over at Argos Fancast. It's the ultimate CFL fan talk, the beer around the bar sort of concept, right? So you guys do fantastic. Everybody go check them out at Argos Fancast. And of course, after you're done watching our show, or even first thing tomorrow morning, you can go check out the Argos Fancast. Clay, where can we find you online?
Well, you can find me at All Kinds of Clay. Pick a social media and just type in All Kinds of Clay, and that's probably me. If it's not me, I don't know, somebody stole it, because anytime there's a social media that comes out, I always go get my handle so I can have it just the same across everywhere.
It makes it easy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
We're too old for this stuff, Clay. I can't have like 5 different handles here.
I can't remember all of that.
I have enough trouble remembering my passwords for work and
no, too much.
So.
Feel you there, man. Clay, we're not going to take up any more of your time, man. We cannot thank you enough for joining us tonight. May the best team win on Saturday. It is a matinee, so it'll be interesting. And man, this was fantastic. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, thanks for having me. Go Argos.
Go Elks.
I'm gonna kick you out now.
Later, man.
Bye.
Oh, and that was Clay Chisholm of the Argos Fancast.
I am glad you said his last name before I did, because that is not what I thought that said.
And that was another best of episode of the Elks Call Season 3. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, as that's how you show your support around here. This episode was brought to you by RoyalRetros.com. Save 10% off your order by using code ShotgunSports. All caps, no spaces. They are the throwback kings. We love Royal Retros, and we know you will too. Once again, my name is Scout Natick, a.k.a. the rep from Section X. Thanks again for joining us, everybody. Cheers.